In the Oyo Empire, when a king had to go, nobody stormed the palace. 7 men walked in with a covered gourd. Inside were parrots' eggs. The leader of those 7 said one sentence: "The gods reject you, the people reject you, the earth rejects you." And the most powerful man in West Africa had to take his own life. That wasn't a coup. That was the procedure, written into the constitution of an empire, centuries before the word impeachment existed in English. Now picture African leadership today. You probably pictured this: the strongman, the president for life, the portrait on every wall. Here's the catch. That man is the newest thing on the continent. He is younger than the light bulb. The oldest political idea in Africa is his exact opposite. Authority is a loan, and the people who lend it can take it back. 5 kingdoms, 5 different ways to fire your leader. One of them ran term limits for 500 years, and then somebody took all of it away. Number 1, Oyo. Not a village, an empire. Cavalry, tribute states, and a king called the Elephant. Above him sat 7 kingmakers. They chose him. They could reject him, and a second council checked them. In the 1700s, one prime minister used that procedure to force out 4 kings in a row. The 5th one executed him. Think about what that means. A removal clause powerful enough to be abused is a removal clause that actually works. Number 2, Asante. Here a chief isn't crowned. He's enstooled, placed on a stool, and what gets placed can be lifted off. He doesn't even nominate himself. The Queen Mother puts forward the candidate. Then he swears an oath that lists out loud the conditions for his own removal. Break it and you're destooled. And this still happens. Chiefs get removed today for abusing power or selling the same land twice. Number 3, Igbo land. And here the king disappears completely. Igbo Enwe. The Igbo have no king, millions of people, no throne, no ruling family. Power was deliberately scattered. Councils of family heads. Age grades. Everyone born in the same few years, moving through life as a block, doing the roads, the defense, the policing. Titles you earned, never inherited, and a second government made entirely of women, which could sanction any man alive. Remember that one. It comes back. Number 4, the Tswana Kagatla, an assembly ground under a tree where policy got argued in the open. 2 sayings run that room. A chief is a chief by the people, and even the poor speaker speaks his own truth. That second one is the radical one. Not the wise get to speak, everyone does, because people who aren't heard don't obey. They wait. Number 5, and this is the one that should be famous, and almost nobody has heard its name. Among the Oromo of Ethiopia and Kenya, there's a system called Gadaa. Society is split into 5 groups. Each one moves together through fixed stages of life: learning, herding, warriorhood, then government. When your group reaches the top, you govern for exactly 8 years. Not 8 years and then a referendum on a 3rd term. Not 8 years and then a new constitution. 8 years, then you hand over. And the leader gets 1 term. It cannot be renewed. Sit with that. A fixed single-term presidency in East Africa, centuries before any European country had one. And he doesn't rule alone. Every 8 years, thousands gather for a general assembly at the wells. That assembly is the parliament. It reviews every law. It passes new ones. It settles the disputes nobody else could. And it can impeach the men currently in power. It meets under a sacred sycamore, which means the Oromo parliament is a tree, and it has been sitting on schedule longer than most parliaments have existed. Running alongside all of it, an institution belonging to Oromo women, named for the stick they carry, with its own power to step in when women's rights are broken. Fixed terms, forced handover, a parliament, impeachment, a women's institution with real teeth. UNESCO listed it as Heritage of Humanity in 2016. And now the number that ends the argument. The Borana can name their leaders back through roughly 70 terms in a row. 70, 8 years each. That's somewhere around 5.5 centuries of scheduled, peaceful, non-negotiable handovers of power. Ask yourself how many governments on Earth can say that? Now, I'm not selling you a golden age, so let's be straight. Some of these states raided and sold human beings. Elders could crush the young. And consensus can be a very polite way of silencing someone. Gadaa itself passed from fathers to sons. Women's power ran in parallel, real but separate. This was never a modern democracy, and it wasn't trying to be. Good, keep that skepticism, because it protects the part that is true and the part that got stolen. 1914, southern Nigeria, the British extend something called indirect rule. Chief Empire. Don't govern millions yourself. Find the chief and govern through him. One problem, in Igbo land there was no chief, so they printed some, men holding a piece of paper from a governor instead of a mandate from a village. And here's the switch that changed everything. The old chief answered downward to a council that could remove him. The new chief answered upward to the officer who protected him. He was now the police, the judge, the tax collector, and the law, all one man, and nobody could fire him. So colonialism didn't bring kings to Africa. It did something more precise. It kept the throne and deleted the recall. Think about that next to Gadaa, a system whose whole genius was the scheduled handover, meeting an empire that wanted a chief who never leaves. The old system did fight back. November 1929. Tens of thousands of Igbo and Ibibio women mobilized through the exact institutions the British couldn't see. The market networks, the women's assemblies. They used the traditional punishment, sitting on a man, you surround him, you sing everything he's done all night, you don't leave. Chiefs resigned, courts came down, and then the administration did the thing the old system never had to do. It opened fire, and dozens of women were shot dead. Independents inherited the office, not the council. New flag, same wiring, power answering upward to itself. One leader did try to rebuild the old thing. Tanzania, the 1960s. Run the whole country like an extended village. It failed badly. Because the village council worked when it was small and everyone in it could see each other. Scale that to 40 million strangers and you don't get consensus. You get one man deciding for everybody and calling it consensus. Here's the proof the code survived. Surveys across 39 African countries, 80% reject one-man rule. And support for presidential term limits has held between 72 and 77% for a decade. Meanwhile, there's a $5 million prize for any African head of state who governs well and then leaves. It has gone unawarded more often than awarded. So, read those together. We are now offering millions of dollars to persuade a leader to do the thing the Oromo made compulsory for free 70 times in a row. One last thing, and it's the strangest. When everything is taken from you, land, language, kings, courts, what crosses an ocean isn't institutions, it's rules. Everyone pays in. Each round, one person takes the whole pot, then the next. Rotation, fixed turns. Nobody holds the pot twice until everyone has held it once. That's Gadaa, shrunk down to a living room in Brixton. And it funded black business in Kingston, Brooklyn, and Toronto decades before any bank would. Or the black church, where the pastor is called by the congregation and can be uncalled by them. A leader chosen by an assembly on conditions, removable by the same assembly. That's de-stoolment, in a pew in America. So here's the real answer. Africa's contribution to leadership isn't warmth and it isn't community. It's revocability. Power must have a return path. And the funny part, the West is trying to reinvent it right now. Stakeholder capitalism, 360 reviews, servant leadership, flat organizations. Every one of them is an expensive attempt to rebuild the GOT law with worse acoustics. So take this with you. Whatever you lead, a company, a team, a household, the question isn't how do I get authority? It's this, who can take it back from me? And do they know that they can? Because a leader nobody can remove isn't a strong leader. That's just someone standing alone, with nobody left behind them. The Akan have a word for going back to get what you left behind. Sankofa, a bird with its head turned backwards, lifting an egg off its own back. An egg, which is where we started. Go back and fetch it. Like, comment, share, join us at Kemet Leads and set your notifications so that power always remains alone. And join the discussion on the leaders shaping Africa and its diaspora.